So we're in the final vacuum out, and then that'll be the final mop out. We're in the living area. We showed you a bedroom. The key here is to use the wide mouth. We want to get the corners, we want to get the edges, and any gaps and crevices, transitions, like this area right here, where things transition to another floor, are going to be super key. Alright, so notice I just did my wide mouth of this half of the living area. We'll get the kitchen next. Now I'm using the needle nose to get the edges, to get the transitions, to get any crevices. Alright, so now we're going to do the other side. Alright, finishing up the living room, kitchen area. I want to make sure we get these crevices, watch for that. First I'm going to do the wide mouth again, and we're going to use needle nose or other tools to pick up hard to reach dirt, debris, hairs, things like that. Alright, so we have gotten the floors, we've gotten with the needle. The last thing here is we never leave a dirty vacuum in a house. So what I'm going to do is take this outside. It's really easy to open this up. Boom. And I'm going to empty it into this trash can. And we're going to put this vacuum back together. It's going to be done. So just give me a second to get this outside, and I'll be right back. Alright, so now that the vacuum container is clear, we're going to put it back on there. Boom. And we're going to wind this vacuum back up. And this stays here in the main storage closet. The guests can use this. We wind it up just like this, just the way it's supposed to be. And we are now done with the vacuum out part. I'm going to show you how we mop it up. Rock and Alright, housekeepers, so what we're doing now is the final vacuum out. We just did the bed, linens are done, and so it's a two-part process. And the key here is just trying to get every hair, every piece of debris that we see. We don't want to leave any stone unturned. So I'm going to use the wide mouth on the shark, and then what I'm going to do is take the needle nose tool, and I'm going to get all the corners, all the edges, all those sorts of things, so we get it sparkling clean. All right, so we've done the wide mouth. And now I'm going to take the needle nose and we get all the corners, the edges, and one of the most important areas that people don't know about, this particular piece right here. This is a significant piece. It is called the transition. And what happens here is hairs get caught in those change of surfaces, sometimes they get caught in these nails right here. So this is a key area. We always want to get this very nicely. I want to start with that. All right, so on to the next room, on to the next room, on to the common areas. Once we're done with the final vacuum out, we mop it out and this place is shining. All right, so here we are, mop and bucket. This is the official mop and bucket. Sometimes you'll be using a different mop and bucket. Anyway, the process is the same. We want to get hot water running. We want to get hot water in the bucket, fill it up, and then we're going to add some pine salt to this solution so that we can really clean up the floor. And I'm going to show you the final mop out, but right now I'm just going to get this mop and bucket full. The other mop and bucket that we use is an O cedar. There's a couple different versions. Anyway, like I said, the premise is the same. All right, so as you can see there, that can take a minute to fill up your bucket. You want to make sure you're using hot water, and you also want to make sure you have a clean mop and bucket. Hose your mop and bucket out if it's dirty, if there's bugs, if there's sand, things like that. Add in about a cup and a half of pine salt. All right, and we are ready to rock and roll. So this is going to be the final mop out of a bedroom, using the bunk bedroom here as an example. So I get a full mop load wet, kind of press it about halfway. You learn your preferences as time goes on, but the key here is to get a nice soapy wet mop, and we want to spread it out the entire floor here. Flip over the mop as well. You want to get all the under the different items, furniture, stuff like that. You know, dip into under that bed right there. If there are any stains, things like that, get them sorted out, scrub them out. If there's a stain, you can scrub it out. So now that I have this floor wet mopped, what I'm going to do next is dry mop. So I'm just washing out my mop head. Sometimes I'll twist the fibers a little bit, that way I can get it even drier. Boom. So now that I have a nice dry mop, I'm just going to go back over the area. And I'm going to show you the most important part here. It's again dealing with this transition. This transition is like a magnet for hairs. Got behind the door there, right? And so there's that transition right there. I'm working my way out so I'm not putting any footprints. And the last thing I'm going to do is I carry a paper towel. I carry a paper towel so I can wipe this transition and pick up any hairs that might be on there. So you always want to check that transition. All right. So I've done one of the 3 bedrooms in this house, and I'm on my wet mop. I'm going to show you this corridor, and I'm going to show you the other 2 bedrooms. So I'm going to disappear for a second, but this is going to be long. All right, so that first room, that master bedroom right there is mopped out. Now you see me mopping the hallway. We already did this room. Might need a little bit more water, so I could just dip the head in there. Just dip it real quick. And I'm going to take it in this bed. Wow. You got to watch yourself. Sometimes it's a little slippery. Got sandals on right now. Sometimes I do it in bare feet. This is that slippery part. Now this is an important transition right here. The level of the floor changes. There's a couple hairs there. We're going to get those. You're going to see me switch to my bare feet. All right, so now I'm drying off the mop. I might need to dry it off one other time to get all these areas. So I'm going to go back to the last bedroom here. Right now, as I come out, I'm looking at that transition. I'm going to go down with a paper towel. And again, make sure there's no hairs there. All right, continue to work our way out of the house. Again, checking the transition. This is just a little piece of paper I found here as well. And there is hair on this transition. All right. Again, checking that transition out. That's it. Keep going all the way out. Finishing the final mop out in the great room. We got the living room, kitchen. After we're done doing that, floor dries, chairs come down. We just reassemble anything. And the last thing would be a welcome gift. So, again, this process is super simple. We use a wet mop first, as I'm applying right now. And then we will dry mop it. We do move furniture and things like that around that need to be moved around to get under them. For example, there. Have your paper towel handy. If something shows up on the floor, you can pick it up. Keep moving. So, first side of the floor is wet. Now we're going to get under these tables and everything else. A lot of food that dries, that sticks, is in these areas right here. And if there's a stain down below you need to scrub out, you can use the pressure of this head and scrub it out. Cleaning the mop now, cleaning it out. And now, we're going to dry mop this area. After we dry mop it, the chairs can come down. So sometimes I'll just get these areas first so they can start their dry. Continue picking up wet floor, clean the mop, dry the mop. take my final dry mop. I'm gonna put this mopping bucket outside. The chairs are down. And it is ready for the final touches of the welcome gift, resetting any instruction manuals, things like that. All right, and that's it. You're mopped out.